While it's easy to simply trash the 15th Pokemon movie, I actually like it, so why do I call it a glorified extended episode? At the time it was originally released, it was like 72 minutes long, and its immediate predecessor was around 90 minutes long. So, it's on the shorter end of the movies, probably still is, and it does fit the standard Pokemon movie formula. Ash and Co. run into a cute, probably fairy-like Pokemon who uses telepathy and various forces from poachers to evil businessmen, want to use that power for some reason and awaken forces they cannot control, usually in the form of a Pokemon or some kind of natural phenomenon or treasure. Sometimes the middleman is cut out and it's the Pokemon who plays the antagonistic role. And this movie does take those elements. Keldeo, for instance, is our fairy character, even though he is a water donkey, My Little Pony thing. And Kyurem is Kyurem. Pretty much, Keldeo gets into the crosshairs of an angry legendary Pokemon who is so bloodthirsty that he will finish this duel no matter what. The problem is that the story holds the My Little Pony protagonist and the Swords of Justice as a whole in a greater lion's share of the limelight. Now, not bad, and I do support it when background characters and one-shot characters get a lot more focus than the main protagonist. The problem is that they can hold the plot on their own. Ash and friends look more superfluous than usual. Yes, I understand that Ash and friends always play the magical tourist and you need to have continuity with the main show, but come on. This one is so stripped down, so bare bones, we don't even get a one-shot unique movie expositing character. The person who is expositing is Nurse Joy right here. And at the heart, it's a Keldeo story. Great. Less great is the amount of telepathic characters we have to deal with. Seriously, guys, you have 5 characters who speak telepathy and a smaller runtime. Why couldn't you have just animated mouth movements for, any of them? Kyurem may get a pass, Black Kyurem form less so, for the telepathy thing. But it's so jarring when this movie decides to animate Keldeo really well in the visual department, being so much more expressive than past protagonists and one-shots, that I kind of feel for the guy. It's a small character story, but it does work out, though there are issues that come from being stripped down. I mentioned the whole Ash and Friends being ridiculously superfluous thing. There's also the Pokemon movies having this tendency to repeat exposition. Now, in longer movies, you can sort of shrug that off, but when this movie does it, it harms the pacing because seeing something twice or hearing something twice by proportion alone, it's going to affect how this film goes. It's going to ruin the pacing. Other issues include Kyurem's motivation, and you're sort of wondering what on earth and how on earth everything is related. Why did he agree to duel the Swords of Justice? What does he get out of this? Why is he crass? Is he just bloodthirsty for the sake of being bloodthirsty because that works? Why does he have a bunch of cryogonal at his beck and call? Why doesn't he eat people? Why is he a douchebag? Okay, some of these questions are not me being serious, but I think you get the idea. Again, perfectly adequate story, but I feel like they needed to make a few adjustments in order to make this feel more like a character story and not like an extended episode of Ash and Friends bumping into legendaries. It doesn't need to have the world-ending grandeur to be good, it just needed more scenes dedicated to the story it wanted to tell. Those are just my thoughts. Please consider liking, subscribing, tipping the channel on Ko-fi. This is Cyril signing off.